Okay.
Oh no.
Oh, it's episode 2.
Oh,
Look at that.
look at that. How organic.
How organic.
Episode 2. Look at it.
We're live.
Oh, we are live. Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you, Larry. Oh, we are live. Yes.
Awesome.
Let's do muting. Let's mute this. All right, excellent. Okay, Keisha.
Well, hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Thursday, March 14th.
Pie day,
Pie
actually.
day. It is.
Oh, it is
day.
pie day.
Yes.
I ate a lot of pie. I had a banana cream pie. It was so good.
Oh, wow. And here in New Jersey, amazing weather today. It was almost 70 degrees, and it's March. You can never, ever know what the weather will be like in March.
I love it.
Really,
People
really.
walking around with shorts,
Yeah, running,
t-shirts.
which, you know, in New Jersey.
No.
In New Jersey. We all right?
Okay, we're having a little technical difficulty.
And we're back. We're back. Let's see how that looks. We're back.
No, can you fix?
Corbin's here. Corbin is here.
Hey, Corbin.
Hello, Corbin.
Hey, Corbin.
Alana is here.
Hey, Alana. How you doing? Happy Thursday.
Excellent.
All right,
Okay,
great.
very good, very good.
Great. We hope we have some more viewers today. We do have to give a shout out to our tech support, Larry. Thank you, Larry.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. All right. Who else do we have? Anybody
That's
else?
just like it's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Alana said happy Thursday.
Oh,
Yes,
happy
yes, yes.
Thursday. Thank you, Alana. We're almost there. It's almost
We
Friday.
are.
St. Patty's weekend. You guys have plans?
Is that this weekend?
It is. It's Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, are you wearing green? I start wearing my green tomorrow. What about you, Daria?
I don't really have much green in my wardrobe.
Oh my gosh. What do you have? Were you wearing green
I
tomorrow?
will not be
Danielle?
wearing green. I always wear my favorite colors, black and gray.
Hence our sweatshirt.
Yeah.
But I have a bin. I have a bin of clothing for all holidays, seasons, and events. So I have about 4 shirts that I'll be wearing this weekend. It's only 3 days, so I have to double up
That's
one day.
Wonderful, Keisha.
It is.
It is.
Who else do we have? Anybody?
We have
Alana.
Alana.
Okay. All right.
Well, that's good. So
That's good.
we're gonna get started in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to give some folks some
Yes.
time. I know I
But-
just sent a message to Julie also.
Oh,
So
Julie.
hopefully Julie will join us.
Very good. Very good.
Excited about that. For
Yeah,
sure.
I hope so.
What were you going to say, Danielle?
I was gonna say, but I was gonna say, hello, and I was gonna remind everyone of our names. I'm Danielle, and this is,
I'm Keisha.
And I'm Daria.
and we're here with another book club chat. And I just wanted to talk about the book first, and
Oh, yeah.
was it a hard read for you guys? An easy read, a quick read?
Yeah.
While we're waiting for more people to get here.
Good questions. I thought it was a good read, harder read than I thought it would be. I didn't give myself exactly enough time.
Really?
Yeah, because I finished only 6 hours ago. You know, I should have been done before that. So for me, yes, I
Well,
felt
you know,
pressure.
yeah. If we're talking about Revelations, yeah, I just finished it probably about 2 hours ago myself.
Yeah.
But I wonder what makes you say it was a hard read. I mean, to me, hard read means vocabulary is difficult, the complexity, you can't quite follow the plot. What was it that was hard?
I think that the topic, death and dying.
Oh, Tony says hello. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony Cardinali. Hello.
Tony Cardinali, hello.
And Alana also said it was an easy/quick read.
Easy.
Yes,
Okay.
it was pretty quick because I think I started yesterday.
Okay.
And I finished today at like 5.
I felt like the topic was tough. I don't
Yes.
mean the vernacular, the
Right.
words,
I
but
understand, yes.
tough topic, death and dying, and feeling like you're alone in the world. I think that to me makes it a tough
I know.
conversation
Yes.
and tough topic
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
What, Tony? What about you? Was it an easy read, hard read?
Oh, Devin. Hi, Devin.
Oh, hey, Devin.
Thanks for joining us, Devin.
Hi, Devin. Oh.
Tony Cardinali, did you read the book? And if so, did you find it easy or difficult relative to other books you've read?
Alana said the hard part was the infidelity issues of Eden. Really?
Infertility.
Oh, infertility. Because I'm like, infidelity, he left her. That's not unfaithful.
He left her,
You
she
know,
said, because she
they
basically
had
said
a
hi.
separation agreement.
Yeah, they did. They did.
But that's not what you said.
That's
That's
what you
not
said.
what you
Infertility, Alana, and agree. Very tough topic.
Yes, that was
tough.
infidelity. But now, question, I mean, who thought that was cheating? They were technically separated.
Yes.
That's my own question.
Right.
That's your only question.
No, that's my own question.
What? What's wrong? Oh, it's just because I scrolled down.
Okay, I got it.
We're okay.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Tony has answered.
Yes.
Tony said it was an easy read, and she also finished about 2 hours.
Okay.
Oh, good, Tony. All right.
Excellent. I'm so glad
Good.
you finished, Tony.
Yeah.
Yay.
Awesome. That's
Now,
really good.
okay, but speaking about this infertility issue
Yeah, the
that
infertility.
you raised,
infertility.
Danielle,
Yeah.
so Alana is saying that the book made her think about all the stuff that women go through with their reproductive system, whether or not they are trying to get pregnant. So in the book,
Right.
Yeah.
it's centered around, the desire Eden had, the desperation she had to get pregnant,
Truly desperate.
right?
She felt like she was incomplete.
desperate. Yeah.
But Alana's saying reproductive health extends beyond just pregnancy.
It does.
Comment.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, reproductive health, I mean, for women, it is a driving force in terms of who we are, what we do, what our capacity and bandwidth is and can be. The additional appointments and all the different preventative things that we have to undergo and be able, and obviously we won't talk about healthcare, but even that access, just to even be ahead of all of that. The money they spent, alone
Yes.
too.
Oh, yeah.
That was something. In terms of, reproductive health, what do you think, Danielle?
I think it's hard, and it's mostly, I know she felt alone. Like, the woman goes through that alone, sitting in the office for 3 hours and then waiting for him to come, hoping that he's going to come, and going through the test and giving the blood. And it's a lot.
The injections, and even though he had some sluggish sperm, and she had the ovulation that wasn't always every month the way that it I guess it's supposed to be, whatever that means. She still was undergoing and enduring a lot of that.
So Tony's here bringing up desperation to the point of madness.
Yes.
And how disheartening that was. And it's interesting because Tony, I got to the end of the book. I don't know what you all thought, where I was just thinking both of them were desperate to the point of madness. Both of them.
Both of who?
Both Eden and Jesse.
Oh, and
Jesse. They were in parallel. Even though we find out at the end that it's not quite what we initially thought.
Sure.
Both of them were like, downsliding into this path of desperation, right? And madness because, Jesse desperately wanted to figure out who her father was.
Yes.
Right.
And Eden desperately wanted to get pregnant.
Sure.
And both of them went crazy because of it.
It drove them to a place where they were almost, I don't want to say, for lack of a better word, they were irrational within, what is a difficult situation where you could try to give some rationale to why and what could have taken place to why Jesse didn't know who her dad was, and Eden, this may not be your path of being a mother, and thinking about what the alternative would be and could be.
But I think Eden was a great mother. Just because, Jesse loved her a lot. She was great she gave her child love. That girl loved her.
It seems like Jesse had unconditional love for her mother.
From her mother.
Her
mother gave up her man.
She gave up her husband for this dream. I do worry, though, about an isolated, insulated life that they led.
She took the computer back.
She
wrapped the computer back. And took it back to the store. And I was like, did she go to Circuit City?
Yeah, where did they go to return the computer? But to also
unplug the cord.
To be the only source of information for your child. That's a huge burden. That's a huge burden. And Jesse,
a disservice to the children, your children.
Absolutely a disservice. And so Jesse even going to elementary school and finding out what is a dad, like the word never even came up in the conversation. And to me, you can love your child to infinity and beyond, and I think that is absolutely healthy and reasonable. However, when you create kind of like an island, and I guess I visualized kind of where they were as well, really being an island unto itself. And the vegetation,
Right.
can you survive on that island with nothing else and no one else?
I could not. I know. No.
All right, I have a comment here. Can I read a
Yeah,
comment
please.
from our
Alana.
viewers?
Yeah.
So Alana is saying it was a selfish decision. She did not tell her daughter the truth for her own reasons and didn't consider her daughter's needs or desires.
True.
Mm-hmm. True.
So, I mean, Danielle, going back to your point about her being
Yeah.
a good mother, I mean, what do you think? I mean, there's some selfishness also in trying to shield her from the outside world.
I don't know about you, but I'm selfish with my kids sometimes. Like, I make them come in at 10:55 because I want to go to sleep. Like, I don't know. Like, I agree that she shielded them too much.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
She had her own reasons.
Yeah.
But sometimes, we make mistakes as parents. We're not always going to be
We're not gonna be perfect,
But
but
I mean, she has some imperfections. But wait, you missed Alana's other thing. Love isn't always enough. I'm just curious. Love isn't always enough. But I'm not sure what she was commenting that.
Yeah,
said.
Alana,
I'm
fill
curious.
fill in the blank. Tell us more about that.
Well, that and while we're waiting for her to elaborate on that point, she's saying honesty also, love and honesty. But just to pause before we get into that one. So Tony is saying, I think this also brings up the point of feeling isolated and loneliness, even with people in their lives. They definitely had connection issues. They sure
Yes,
did.
they
they
did have
definitely
connection
social
Yeah.
issues, social. They were, weary of others, leary of others, and that is because of their lack of interaction.
That's true.
Well, and think about even in the dream that Jessie had, that landlord that she had, the
Miss
Geisler, she didn't really. They weren't friendly with each other.
Not at all.
I still don't know who
She
Miss
did-
Geisler was.
I don't know who she was either, but even with that, I mean, she's in
Yes.
this building, she's in this building.
The
There was
carriage
still
house.
an isolation
Right.
and a
Agreed.
separation. Just
And that's even in a dream.
Right,
in
and
the
she's still
dream.
That's
isolated
what I'm saying.
themselves
But
in a
she
dream.
she was detached emotionally.
Alisa is here.
Alisa. Welcome.
And Kaya has
Hey,
joined.
Kaya. Welcome. That's awesome.
I didn't see Kaya.
Thanks for joining
Oh, that's
us.
Kaya.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Danielle, you were saying.
You were saying.
What was I saying?
About just being detached, like even the idea of being in a carriage house in
right.
Jessie's
Yes.
dream,
Separate.
a small place that really you don't really rent to people. It was cold. She was shivering. She was physically uncomfortable. And then Miss Geisler staring in, peering in,
Right.
the music coming through the Gladys Knight,
Yeah.
Midnight Train or something.
Oh, I know.
But now we know that obviously that was playing in the hospital for
Yes.
Eden.
Yes.
Eden loved, those sounds
Yes.
of Gladys Knight.
But you know what I thought? Like, when you're not trustworthy, it builds distrust in other people.
Oh.
So because Eden should not be trusted, especially around children. She knows what she plotted, what she planned, wanting to steal babies, wanting to make nurses
Right.
feel like, well, I wash my hands without them even telling me.
Yeah.
She plotted, she planned, and she was ready to steal that little girl. She did steal that little girl until she got caught. So then that makes you not want to trust your baby around anybody because
Right.
you know what devious thoughts you had in your head,
Yeah.
which made her probably keep Jessie to herself.
And
Oh
what
my God, that's deep.
that's very deep. But you're right, because she really was when the journal opens, which we now know is the journal.
Yes.
She was your typical all around, gal. She and Aaron were just trying to make a life for themselves, 67 miles to be exact, away from their families so that a phone call would be warranted before people visited, because they wanted to be
That's
on
the
their
first
own.
sign. That's
They
the
wanted
first
that
sign.
distance, and they wanted to be interdependent. And that word to me, is a very interesting word. But that's the word that I kept thinking about as I read through the book, because she transferred the relationship she had with Aaron after he disappointed her. With saying they'd only been really trying.
Well, wait. You're talking about disappointed when he didn't show up?
Yeah,
To give his sperm?
Yeah, for a year. Yeah,
After
and
she waited 3 hours?
She was
No, wait. She didn't just wait 3 hours. She waited 3 hours and 14 minutes.
I knew. Yeah.
Oh,
Wait. Hi, Day. Now listen.
Yeah.
I was freaking out. I don't know if anybody else was. Who else? Tony, you finished the book today. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
But there were 2 instances where the number 314 came up, and I was starting to freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
The irony
that's
of
how
that.
long she waited for him to show up
Sure,
to give the
wow.
sperm at the fertility clinic. She
Right.
waited 3 hours and
Wow.
14 minutes.
She did.
And it was also how long her death process took.
Yes.
What death process?
At the
when
end,
Jesse
the death
woke-
rally,
the death
like
rally,
the death
the
rally,
rally,
yeah.
It was
When
when
Aaron
Aaron
was
was
in the
14
corner.
minutes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it is March 14th. That's
I know.
Wow, look at that!
Oh
Oh
my
wow, Alana, did you see that too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so Tony said yes, but okay, but the other, so the
Tony,
other
did you realize that? I guess she did.
I think
guess
she
Tony
did.
Yeah.
The other symbolism that Tony is bringing up back to this, and Alana, actually, Tony agreed, but Alana said she thought the carriage house was the hospital room. It was symbolic of that. It was cold. It was small. It was isolated.
Cramped.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fear that Jesse had.
Oh,
every
I
time
think the
stepping
carriage house
into.
was the hospital.
See?
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
right.
Alana.
Yeah,
Cole.
very
Yeah.
small. Yeah.
Good point.
Good,
Good
very
point.
good point.
That's
very
really
good
good.
point.
So, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. So I was
Before-
the piece that I was just like alluding to around the interdependence was just that when you transfer that kind of love, affection, and intimacy, and there's that mother-daughter, there's that husband-wife, whatever partnership you have. I felt like Eden transferred that to Jesse.
Of course.
And
yes.
so there were some pieces in their relationship where you do feel like you don't know who you are outside of that person.
Yes.
And really as parents, I think when we think about our own children, I think the goal is for them to be able to stand on their own.
Absolutely.
And be able to reach for others should they need them.
Yeah.
For whatever
Yeah.
the situation, because I think we all know that we're time limited, no matter what the situation or circumstance.
You mean just not being afraid to ask for help if you need it?
Not being afraid to ask for. Jesse was in the dream. Jesse was concerned about applying for college.
Yeah.
She was.
She cleaned houses side by side with her mother.
Yeah.
She'd never really been away.
Yes, right.
And think about her dream. The fear was like applying for financial aid and figuring out whether or not her next step was college.
Yeah.
She really didn't know.
She was on her own.
She was on her own.
Yeah.
And really did not have the coping skills
Right.
to do that.
Right.
And for me, I think
Well, because her mother she had mental illness. Her mother had mental illness.
But she became better.
Eden had mental.
Did she?
ill-
Do you guys
Yes.
believe she had mental illness? I'm not sure that she did.
I think
she
she did.
and
I
I
think
think-
she really wanted a baby.
But,
and she
yeah,
had the baby.
but for trying for a year, and now we know in today's terms, in 2019, I mean,
Absolutely.
trying for a year is like not a big, long period of
No.
time at all. So I'm thinking, she was 28, 29 years old. That wasn't super long to be in the state, which I felt was a
Right.
bit manic. I gotta be honest.
It was.
It wasn't been much the
It was.
level she went to. I don't know if
Yeah.
she was.
Watching the little
Permanently
ballerinas.
I don't know. Oh,
Scary.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she was permanently mentally ill
I
or
would've called the
just
cops.
or just that state of her time. I think she
Sure.
was mentally ill then.
So Alana said it wasn't just about time. She said the mother had PTSD. Like I think there was definitely something like that going on.
Sure.
You
What,
know?
from that one miscarriage? Was that the
Miscarriage.
PTSD?
Yeah, Lana, was it from that miscarriage? That was very
Oh,
sad.
good question. Yeah, what caused the PTSD?
Yeah,
What
I'm
was
not
the
minimizing
trauma?
the miscarriage. I'm saying because of the one.
Yeah.
She had issues with ovulation and he had issues with his sperm.
Yes, they were definitely, not, the chemistry wasn't really right. So I guess I think about that too, when the chemistry isn't really right. And, and a good question for further debate offline, I'm sure, is like, what do you do about that? Because technology is so advanced. So what do you do about that? And they had both come from big families, and they just thought it was going to be so easy for them to conceive.
Alana said this was traumatic.
Oh, but look at what Tony said.
Yes.
I think that's really insightful. So Tony is saying there was an inappropriate bonding happening. That's kind of what we were saying. But the reason
Right.
she's saying Eden wanted Jesse to fill the void of Aaron being gone. Like, it's like, think
Right.
about that.
Wow.
It's like, either from
Yes.
the death of a spouse or the, separation or divorce.
Yes.
Yeah.
That does happen sometimes. Like, there is an inappropriate level of attachment that
Right.
the remaining spouse,
Yeah.
the one who's the primary caregiver, might have with the child because they're filling a void.
Yeah.
And that's not good for the child because then the child thinks they're responsible for their parents' happiness
Right.
and their parents' entertainment.
Yeah,
So-
as if
They
they're
become
like
the
the
sole
sole
source.
spouse.
Right.
Yeah, they feel
Yeah.
like they're the sole source of the joy, which is definitely inappropriate. So
Yeah.
Tony, yes.
And Alana says society makes women think that they don't have value beyond being a mother and she couldn't fulfill what she saw as her purpose. Wow, Alana, good point.
Yeah.
Good point. And you know, people were always asking her, when are you having kids? When are you having kids
Her
next?
stepmother, who she wasn't even that close with, asked her.
But I feel like, I mean, people should think about that. Like, don't pry in everyone's business all the time. Maybe everybody doesn't want kids. Maybe they can't have kids. Maybe just, how are you doing today? Like, that's
right.
Like, it's not,
I mean, and you don't know the backstory. You don't know what people are trying to do. Let them tell you what's going on versus you asking when you're going to have kids. It's a loaded question.
Okay, I have another question. Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay, so if I happen to get pregnant by the bartender, right?
Oh no! Oh no!
And then my husband, who I loved, who we were on a separation agreement,
Yes.
came back, but I still loved him. You know, he left me. I would be like, okay, now we're even. Like,
Really?
I mean, I'm pregnant. You walked away from me with your bag, left me in the place for 3 hours and 14 minutes.
I think he gave her a little bit of.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't have left Aaron like that. That was kind of mean.
But what would you have done? Would you have told him what
I
you
would
did?
have. I would have like, well, there's
Okay.
a little issue.
Okay.
There's a little issue.
Little kerfuffle. There's a little kerfuffle here.
I don't know.
What
I
would
would have been.
you have done?
I'm saying I
I
would
mean,
have
but
been
that's
honest.
a lifelong consequence.
I would have been
Yes,
honest
it
with
is.
Aaron.
And so, but hold on. So Tony's saying, you know, mental health is no joke. She snapped with all that pressure.
Sure.
And I mean, was that part of her snapping, basically, in allowing
I just
herself to be taken by some random bartender?
But I want to know, would you guys have told
She
your
wanted
man
to
the
feel
truth? Like, would
alive.
you guys have been honest? I guess I want to know
I think.
from your perspective, if you were in that situation,
Yeah.
would you have been like, we have a little kerfuffle after this baby, or would you
yeah.
roll the next morning before he came home with his
Oh,
bag?
would you like sneak away and leave?
Yeah.
Yes, would you have done
I
that same
think
thing?
that she did not trust the level of love
Go ahead, Alana. I'm sorry.
that Aaron had. I feel like she
That
didn't
is
trust.
true.
She didn't trust the level of love that Aaron had for her.
Mm.
When he came back, kind of like a tail, tail between his legs. Said, like, I'm nothing without you.
Right.
And you know
But you were
what?
fine in 3 months.
We do have indiscretions. And if you recall, how did she get to that bar? She went to find Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
and she felt like she could not take the little source of joy she saw.
Mm.
And in the moment that he was laughing and felt, he looked and appeared,
Right.
he looked and appeared carefree. And she did not want to impact that.
So I think this is interesting. So this idea of defining moments that Alana is bringing up, because that was that moment, that choice that Eden made to flee, basically the truth, and hide her secret from Aaron, was a defining moment. It really did set a certain trajectory for the rest of her life.
It did.
And Tony is saying that she would have let Aaron choose.
And so did Alana say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
And-
right. But she said, but I don't think Eden could have felt
Any more rejection.
Oh,
Yes.
so she was protecting herself.
Yes, she was. Because she's selfish. Back to her being
She's
selfish again.
yeah.
That's what I feel like it was. So you gonna let that man come back with his bag the next morning and you're going.
And you're going.
I mean, but you love
and
this
just be
man?
ghost, gone.
Well, but that's true.
and then
though.
write a letter 20 years later.
A journal.
A journal.
Yes.
Or whatever.
When you're dying. He
Yeah.
still can't have you.
Yeah, but sometimes you do avoid situations because you don't want to have to deal with the potential
It's
of
still
rejection.
selfish.
That's selfish and immature.
Well, is it always selfish or is it fear?
But it's still your fear. And it's
So
still
that's
about-
selfish?
Yes.
Because you're afraid?
It's
Yeah,
still your
because you
fear.
didn't give him a choice. So my
Yeah.
thing is that you were trying to. I think so.
Even Alana said, good point, but Tony, people do flee out of self-preservation.
Julie! We were just talking about Eden and whether or not she's selfish, Julie, and protecting herself from, I guess, disappointment.
Well, and whether acting out of fear is a form of selfishness.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, based on your own personal observations, I'm curious because I don't know if I quite see eye to eye.
Well, this is why
on this issue. I'm curious
this.
because you like
I like
a little debate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the question is, when you are so afraid of rejection that you choose to conceal something rather than reveal, does that make you selfish? Like, automatically? That's the question.
That is a good question.
You know, I mean...
When you don't let that man choose for himself and you pack your bag.
But it wasn't his baby. And he had already decided to leave her.
I mean, but
he had already decided to leave.
And then he decided to come
served
back.
her the papers.
And then he came
because
back.
he wanted to protect her. Because if you recall, she said, even in our separation, Aaron was trying to protect her from herself. Why did she go look for Aaron? To save her from... She wanted him to help her be saved because she could see herself taking that baby. She did not like Miranda. She was so mad at Miranda.
Oh, that's right. Well,
she
I
was
mad
about
at Miranda.
Well,
I didn't like her
did not
either.
like Miranda at all. Yeah. And she had a Carter, too. I thought that was so cute. But I thought that, for me, she was unraveling, and she went to Aaron for safety and security.
Yes.
She should have believed in him a little bit
Different
more.
Different view. Tony says no. Maybe she was actually trying to pay him back. This was her get back at Aaron because she felt like he didn't deserve to be part of her happiness. Right? Because he chose to leave her. He chose to serve her the papers and say, I'm out. And then boom, she finally has a chance to have everything that she wanted, that they wanted. All right, well,
Hence her being selfish.
you decided to leave.
But Tony, did she have it all? Did she have it all, Tony?
Well, okay, so here's,
Julie,
just all get on the, go ahead, Danielle.
I said, Julie says, oh my God, I have so much fear. And yes, I think fear is instinctual, but yes, makes you selfish. It does.
Yeah.
Fear makes you make choices that sometimes aren't the best.
Yeah,
but I'm still is fear always selfish?
Maybe not.
Or is it because, like in nature, if you're afraid, sometimes you might be, that fear might be like it's self-preservation.
Well,
it's like protection.
Fight or flight, but most times it's flight. Even though fight is first, really, more people flight. In general, you're going to flight. And Eden flighted.
Hey, Carter. I see you.
Okay, good point.
Flight or fight. I agree.
Hi, Carter. Happy birthday.
Happy Pie Day.
Birthday, Carter. Wait, Julie is saying selfishness is instinctive.
So selfish can be instinctual.
Yes.
Fight or flight, which is instinctual.
But right? What is the point of risking love and being vulnerable and to go through these stages and phases within relationship building? For me, I'm just wondering what did Julie? What did Julie? What did Eden really have to lose?
What did she have to lose?
What did she have to lose? Your baby is your past first trimester. I mean, your husband comes back to you.
Oh, right.
What did you really have to lose?
Really? Well, him saying, "No way, I don't want you." You've been. What's the word? Like you've been dirtied. You've been
sullied.
Sullied with the sperm of another man.
But didn't he already have
night stand?
Didn't he already have his things going? I'm sure.
There
was never anything about that.
We don't know.
Aaron never cheated. I don't think he ever cheated.
Really, all the liquor on his breath at 1 a.m. with the names.
That's because she was going crazy. He could not.
But Alana says love is
crazy.
Alana says love is scary. Especially if you've been hurt by someone you love.
Right. Well, you're always gonna be hurt.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
you gotta be willing to take the risk, or why waste your time?
Oh, Julie says, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that's part of the question. So if we were to rewrite that part of the book, let's think about this. If we were to rewrite that part of the book, and we wish we would have seen what could have happened if Aaron and Eden had ended up together and they both raised Jesse together, what would Eden have had to do to get herself to a place where she could have taken that leap? How could she have been healthy enough to make herself vulnerable? To take him back in? Because that's right.
But so she would have had to risk for him being upset and going through the stages of anger, resentment, forgiveness.
Right.
She would have had to be okay with enduring those stages.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know what, for me, Eden was selfish because she didn't even want to give him that chance.
Yeah, not even the conversation.
To go through those stages.
Yeah.
And listen, not for nothing, she was already asking the nurse, can I get some sperm? Can I get some sperm somewhere?
That's right.
Yeah.
Anybody got some
sperm? And basically they said because you're married, back to, a couple weeks ago.
Tony said the same thing.
Yeah.
She said the same thing. She was contemplating getting donor sperm.
Right.
That's,
She really was. So,
I want to go back up to Alana, too.
Yeah.
She said love is so scary being hurt, and then she said, Alana said she's had her heart broken by men. Some have tried to come back. The fear of them hurting me like that again is crazy.
It's scary.
It's scary.
Scary.
Yeah, well, they've done because you think the chance that they've done it once, so the chance that they'll do it again
highly likely
seems that much higher, right? Because there's past experience,
right? But I just want to say a lot. I think it depends how they hurt you. Like if they cheat on you or if they abuse you. Yeah, it's pretty much, I think, should be over. But this guy was like, look, girl, we have no more credit card. Like, you ran up my credit.
Yeah, we are maxed.
You know, I'm tired of coming to this clinic giving my donation.
Yeah.
It's not working.
And
Can we just focus on us?
Yeah, and that's
a different hurt.
That was really, to me, when he said, can we just
have us? Like, he really wasn't leaving her. He
it
just
was
wanted
so
them back.
Sweet.
Like the lake and the boat and the house.
And having coffee in the morning together.
Yeah, coffee in the morning.
And that made her leave.
I mean, I gotta be honest. I was upset with Eden.
Well, okay, so Julie said she would risk being hurt again for a second time.
Oh, Julie, you're so
because
sweet.
her heart is stronger than her mind.
Aww.
Well, Julie, we know that about you.
You are
so
sweet.
You're
That's
like,
why we love you, Julie.
Right? You're like,
we
I
love you, Julie.
Yes. Always positive.
Benefited
Benefited the doubt. Upside.
All right, which answer that, guys? Like, do you believe in it? Like what Julie said, I would risk being hurt again because my heart is stronger. Like, what do you guys?
I don't know.
I'll risk being hurt again, possibly not by the same person.
Right.
But, like, I would be vulnerable to new love. But not necessarily the same person the same way. Yeah. Unless I already, like, just had a great time and I'm no longer hurt. And then we come back, it's like starting fresh because I've already had my fun.
But how can you really start fresh?
When you're 85 years old. And you're in the nursing home and you're just rocking.
That's the number, 85.
You're 85 and you're rocking and you're sharing stories. Like,
but to Tony's point, what if you've gone through your stuff, you've been hurt, they leave you, then they also hit rock bottom some other kind of way. Yeah. And then they come back with the benefit of realizing, I need to just be in a different place. I need to focus on things differently.
But what about what about the friendship piece to the relationship? When you share these levels of intimacy with someone, when you share really your core, how do you just walk away from that? You don't acknowledge that, and you don't trust that piece of a relationship or that dynamic. I mean, I feel like that is such an important part of what it is that humans want to connect on that kind of level.
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends on your belief system. Like Julie's saying, she feels like love always wins. Wow. But she's also saying that hasn't been working out so well.
Oh, she said that. Oh. That's not working out so Julie. Not yet. It's not working out yet.
And sometimes we practice, right? We practice a while until that.
Well, here's my theory. Like anytime you have expectations about anything, you set yourself up to potentially get hurt. Because those expectations might not get met, whether that's with regard to a relationship, a job, anything in your life. As soon as you have an expectation, boom, right? Because then you have something to compare it to.
I mean, and that's kind of what, even went with Eden's pregnancy. They started telling people very early, and we know so much more now. You wait a certain amount of time because things can go, awry. But the thing is that you have an expectation. You see how your life is going to be. When you move into a house, they were projecting how they were going to feel.
Yes.
Well, Eden.
And did she share that conversation with Aaron before they got married?
When he brought her to the house. Yeah.
That it's like, we can't have a baby, we're done?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot to put on someone.
That is. And I don't know, but, the opening of the story, and, I like the house, and I could just see, it being run, overrun with children. And then, enter, Miranda and her negativity, and her children running around the house. And the backyard. Miranda.
Well, there was selfishness there too.
Absolutely.
And it was interesting hearing her talk, Miranda talk about, and just not appreciate being
her
a mother.
Kids and being a mother.
Yeah. And then thinking about, on the other side, you've got somebody so desperate to want to be a mother, and, it's just that whole...
Like Miranda didn't know her audience.
Tension.
Why would you talk?
Yeah.
In front of someone?
Well, she didn't care.
She didn't care. She didn't know her audience, or she didn't care.
Yeah, she did not care.
Guys, I want to talk about this. Is what I want to talk about. that guy that she ended up with,
Dimples,
the bartender that sucked her neck raw. Like, what do you guys think about that? sucked her neck raw,
Quite
left the
passionate.
battery to
What'd
go
you say?
dead.
Well, okay, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to see, because all of this is stuff is disconnected, you know? I mean, it's interconnected and disconnected. So I'm looking at comments and thinking about, like, how does some of what you all are thinking relate to what we're discussing? So Tony said, I feel her dependency on Aaron was unhealthy. So she even had a dependency with that bartender. She liked the fact that he was paying her attention.
Yeah.
She liked the fact that he was, you know, he touched her when he slid the little snacks over or whatever. She liked that he was asked, or he commented on her beauty.
All typical, guys. If you pay attention, it's all
Right.
the same
Right.
playbook.
And
he
he,
didn't pick up on
but
it.
he picked up on, he could
Her
feel
neediness.
her neediness.
Desperation.
Yes. So,
Desperation
yes.
smells different. It looks different.
Oh,
It smells different, looks different, acts different. It does.
Yeah, so she's saying when Eden thought she lost Adam, everything seemed like it was all over. And her decision making became more irrational.
Yes.
Correct.
And so her episode or her encounter
With the
with
bartender.
Yes.
was just the natural progression of that. Now it was extreme in the book, but you can think about
She unbuttoned her shirt and put lipstick on.
yes.
Like
You
she
can
said,
think about
you know
the things
what?
that you do, like when
So
you
she
feel
wanted
like
to be used.
yes,
She
yes.
wanted, or did she? Was she so numb she wanted to feel? And if you recall that whole scene in the car, she talks about not feeling anything until it was almost over.
Oh, that's right.
So there was a numbness. So that whole desperation, needing Aaron, being rejected by him, then, right.
Well,
Right.
I have a question. I'm curious for you all and anyone who would like to chime in is whether this book made you think about the relationship with your own mother.
Oh.
And if so,
Yeah.
what did it lead you to think about? And, you know, were there similarities? Not? Yes? No? Alana's saying yes. I don't know if she's answering that question.
Yeah, I don't know.
That I
Okay,
just
take
asked.
time to answer that. But Alana, I like how you said she wanted to feel like a woman, and then you said, "Haven't we all gotten cute and gone out when we had a bad breakup?" Yes,
Yes.
girl. Yes, you're right, Alana.
Absolutely, yes.
So I shouldn't say the girl was desperate, right?
But she did want to feel like she was a part of the human race again, whatever that it took, and that person was available.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, to your point, Dari, it was an irrational sense, a moment, but because she wanted to feel
Yes.
again, and still that act still made her feel numb. She really didn't come to life. So yeah, what about the mom piece? I think that's something interesting.
I think it's big.
Yeah,
I think it's big.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the primary relationship, right? I mean,
It
you know, it's like the
Really
cliche
big.
thing is whenever anybody, you know, is accepting an award or reflecting back in their life, they always thank the mother first.
Uh-huh.
But this brought into, into real full focus, you know, the finality of life, you know, that at some point we're all going to lose, you know, either a child or a parent. Just the connection there, how it can be weak, how it can be strong. I'm just curious what people think about that.
Yeah, well, Alana said it made her think about the impact of a critical decision.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably like with the mom, and then Tony said she was trying to find her identity.
Oh yeah, with the guy. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Probably because she knew her mom wasn't honest about.
Yeah, Jesse was so lost. I think thinking about the relationship with the mother piece, I think you see yourself in your maternal, you know, parent's image. If you're a woman, I think that's quite natural, and I think Jessie felt very lost about that because I think there were some places where she didn't really know her mom. She didn't really know who she was. And there was some mystery and mystique to her. You know, if your mom's like, we don't need a computer, we don't need to like deal with
That's
the
so
world as it is, or who I was, her fear, you know, Eden's fear was like she would know something about me, and that was truly fearful for her. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a difficult relationship, as loving as it was. I think it was definitely difficult.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like you're saying you thank your mom first. You know, I think about it like it's like your mom. You know, like if your mom and you have your dad, but then it's like that's your mom. Like that's who held you. That's who when you were sick took care of you. You know, so yeah, like
It's a tough relationship, and we know obviously from all the books that have been written, those primary relationships, are key to how we see ourselves and how we are in the world, and so I think that's what. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah.
It makes you think about her relationship with her daughter, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not easy. This stuff is not easy, and it changes over time. And it's like it's something that at times you're more conscious of than others. Sometimes you might put it on the shelf and it's like, all right, I'll deal with that later. I'll figure out how to make that relationship better. Right. But at other times, it's like boom, it's like right in your face. You're dealing with it like 24/7, and you just want to fix it.
Fix it, make it better, and know what to do.
What about that bird? The bird.
Wait, the bird you're talking about?
The mama bird. The mama.
There was
the one that was protecting the nest with the eggs?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You're talking about
And
the
then-
mother piece.
And then the hail pelted down. The
Yeah.
bird protected the babies,
Yeah.
but then the father bird never came back.
Right.
It was parallel.
I was like, wow.
Right?
They were saying
That
dove.
was parallel.
It was too,
Right.
It was like foreshadowing.
It was
How was it foreshadowing?
Aaron.
Because Aaron left.
Aaron was like.
Aaron left her with the egg
He left her. He left
in the nest.
Right.
Aaron did not leave her with the egg.
He didn't know.
She left Aaron. Remember?
Wait.
He
she
showed
flew
up the
away.
next
She
morning.
flew away. She flew away. She did.
Aaron left no one. Aaron
But
came
but
home.
ironically, was it still to protect the baby? Protect the baby.
But
She went offline, dead to the world. I mean,
she did, but the bird
Yeah.
stayed and protected her babies until death.
because
Well,
the father.
so Tony said she thought that whole scene was symbolic of how she felt in her life.
Who felt in her life, Tony?
I guess it must have been
Jesse.
who was watching
Jesse
this?
dreamed it. Jesse dreamed
Jesse
it.
dreamt it?
Right? Wasn't that
No,
her dream?
Eden.
I thought Eden watched it.
Eden watched it one day.
Eden
She was
watched
so
it?
bored. She was watching the animals.
Oh,
she
the
was
bird
looking
was
outside.
Eden.
Yeah,
The eggs-
Eden.
Oh my!
watched it.
Alana said the bird was Eden. The eggs were Jesse.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, that lines up.
Yeah.
So
And
Tony
that's
and
right.
Alana, you all are like right in line with each other.
Yeah, they really
you
are.
all are interpreting.
They're very intelligent.
The
Thank you
same
for the
way.
interpretation of this
Yeah.
book. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, her
Very,
mother
very
died
insightful.
protecting her from a danger she didn't understand or know
Oh
about.
wow,
Yeah.
Alana, what was the danger? Aaron? Just curious.
No.
I think there was a lot of symbolism in this book, though.
I do.
Even the name Eden itself is like a garden. It's like
She's supposed to be what? Fertile, green.
right,
All
the
these
Garden of Eden.
things. Yeah. All of
But
that.
and there was a
Lush,
lot
you know.
about seeds and the planting of seeds and
Yeah.
the
There
flowers.
was.
Remember she went
Yes.
out. Remember that one day she got so upset she went outside and cut the flowers up.
Yeah. She did.
Okay.
She did.
And then knew Aaron was gonna be upset about it.
Right. So she hit
right.
him.
So she did. But then, because they were planting
Yeah.
together, and then where did she have the miscarriage in the garden?
Right. Oh, that's right.
In white jeans.
Oh wow.
So you could see that.
And then she
imagery,
realized
the
she
imagery,
was
Alana
the
said
imagery.
she's a genius.
I'm a
The-
genius. You are Alana.
Yeah.
Life, hurt, pain. Oh, Alana.
Yeah, the imagery.
Oh,
Okay, I have another question,
yes.
a text to self question
Oh,
that you love,
I didn't
Danielle. I
think-
know you love these questions. The other one is insomnia. Have any of you ever dealt with sleeplessness / insomnia? I say / because sleeplessness is mild. Insomnia is like full blown, like clinical, like
Jesse.
illness, path to something, potentially really dangerous. So I'm curious whether any of you have suffered from this and what you did about it to resolve it, because it seemed like Jessie was helpless. It's like she felt helpless. She didn't know what to do. She couldn't get to sleep. So that's what I'm curious
But
about.
it was in her dream.
Yeah, she did go to sleep because she got the medicine. She got the melatonin and that other drug.
That's right.
to
Yeah,
it
it
was,
was
it was in
Yes.
her dream.
She did go to sleep.
She went to
slept
sleep.
hard
And
Why
then-
do you think she dreamt she had insomnia?
because she was hard sleeping. That REM sleep, girl, that'll
Well,
get you dreaming.
that's one. But what I thought about that.
and she had trouble sleeping to go to sleep.
Tony suffers from insomnia.
Oh, Tony, do you?
So was it hard to read this book, Tony?
Were there any
And
similarities?
Alana
you
said she
saw?
wasn't really dealing with insomnia, right? Because she
Yeah.
was scared to go to sleep.
And she wasn't dealing with this out
Yeah.
there. So I'm curious, Tony, how you deal with it and, sleep
Yeah,
deprivation is so
deprivation,
intense.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have dealt with that
Yeah.
myself. I'm curious what strategies you leverage, Tony. We won't spend a ton of time on this, but
Well, I think the symbolism though in the dream for Jessie was the death march that her mom was on.
yeah.
So I felt like that was a parallel.
Oh,
Yeah, it
man.
was. It
Ilana
was.
says ambient every night and meditation and turn off the TV and her dog giggles.
Yeah, so Tony, any
Yeah.
strategies that you have, please feel free to share because this is probably, I don't know the stats, but I'm sure a very large percentage of the population suffers from insomnia.
Sure.
And if not that, a very, very large percentage would say they wish they got more sleep than they do.
Right.
I think melatonin helps set your cycle back to normal. Like
Really?
over the summer, I was struggling with like not staying asleep. I took it like maybe for a week, and then now I sleep like a baby.
Right. You had a reset.
Yes.
I mean the stats around like sleeplessness, waking through the night, not sleeping, it's terrible. I mean, and I think it has to do with like our jobs and our stress and all of those dynamics that create the kind of stress on the sleep pattern.
So we're at about 45 minutes, and that's about how long we were on last time. But I do have a potential closing question.
Sure.
Okay.
Do you have something?
What was the point in Jack? The boy at the hospital.
I could tell
Like,
you had something on the tip of your
What was
tongue.
the point in that in the book?
Oh, she said valerian root. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Tony.
The point of Jack,
Like,
he was the patient that had the brother that died with the motorcycle crash,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the point of him?
Yeah.
I think there was a big point.
Wait, what? What was it?
Should we wait till they comment?
Yeah. What do you think the point of Jack?
No, I don't want to wait till they comment. They'll comment. What's their opinion? But
I think it was to show her that she's not the only one who's suffering from loss. She's not the only one out there who is having a terrible, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching experience, and that you can make a connection with another human being. She talked about she's not the kind of girl who, guys talk to, and really their connection was around sorrow and sadness, in this, cafeteria, but they'd both been going through some similar feelings. It wasn't the same, figure in their life, but any loss is one that's quite great.
Yeah.
She had nobody to discuss in her dream the issue she was experiencing.
right.
Which is why she showed up at Liam, also known as Jack's, house. Someone to help her decipher what she found.
Yes, right.
Getting information. Again, all I kept visualizing was this island. You're walking around like an island unto yourself.
Well, what's interesting now that you're saying that,
Yeah.
what's interesting is even in her dream when she went to his house, she dreamt him trying to comfort her, to put the blanket over her, to try to get her to lay down and go to
Her
sleep.
shirt was
Right.
inside
But
out.
she pushed him away even in the dream.
Her shirt was inside out in the dream.
Yeah.
The details around that.
Wow.
She left her bike. I mean, things that she was walking around with an urn in her dream of her
Yeah.
mother.
Oh, she was.
Yeah.
Oh, she talked about the
Oh,
way the urn
faithful.
was gritty.
Oh,
Like the dust.
the desk. Mom was
Yeah.
all around on
Yeah.
on the breakfast table, and she
Right.
called her bike Old Faithful.
Yeah, she did.
So all of that. So Jack was a person to say,
Well, so two
Yeah, we have
things.
comments from
yeah.
Alana.
Yeah,
and
well,
Tony.
so Alana's comments align with what Keisha was saying,
Yeah.
but Tony has a little bit of a different twist, which was that maybe it was about a new beginning, a chance to start over, just like a break from the pain of the past and moving on to something, new.
yeah,
Maybe.
possible,
Right?
yeah.
And that can happen. A lot of times people
Absolutely.
connect after having some shared
Absolutely.
traumatic
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Or at least being able to relate to each other on that
Right.
level, and then
Right.
boom, now you can move forward because you both have that
Yeah.
shared basis.
But
Nobody
not a
can
good
say I don't
idea.
know. I don't-
Just to the readers, like I have a lot of experience. But not a good idea because they're both dealing with trauma right now. So
Oh,
you're not
yeah.
doing the best decision making. So yes, people
Yeah.
do that.
They do.
They
Often,
meet
yeah.
trauma, they come together in trauma, but that's not the time to make a good decision.
And they
Not
usually say you wait
good
like
time.
6 months. I've read some stories where people do
Some
come
stories.
together. Yeah,
Right.
whether they're addicts or they are in a group for grieving the
Yeah.
loss of. And,
Exactly.
you find solace in that person, but you're right.
not a good time.
It's not a good time because you're not whole. You're still,
Absolutely.
in progress or getting over. So,
So, well, before we go to our final question,
Yeah.
should we talk about there was a question we got on our last post about how we read our books.
oh right, yeah.
So should we talk about that?
Yeah.
So we each do something different.
Yes,
Maybe
we do.
we'll go down and we'll just share
Yeah.
what devices, physical versus ebooks, what
Sure.
platforms we use. Danielle.
Right, so I have the Kindle Unlimited. So some books are free, some are discounted. So I read my book on my phone or my iPad. So I read it on my Kindle, but at the same time I download the Audible.
Right.
So I have an Audible account. So so if I'm home, like now I'll listen to it and read it at the same time, like it'll be read to me. But then if I'm in the car, I'll listen to it in the car. And then if I'm running late, like today, I need to have this book done, then I'm reading on my own because you can read much faster than the Audible actually reads to you. So I'm the one that does everything.
I am 98% Audible.
You said 98%?
98%.
That's so precise.
Yeah, like 98% Audible. Sometimes I do read a chapter or two that's available online. And so I do that, but I do like Audible a lot. And it is my preferred reading
Medium.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, I used to buy the physical books and then I would resell them on Amazon because I'm very frugal. Over time, I decided, let me come into the 21st century. So now I do ebooks and I read them on my iPad using the Kindle app. I tried Audible at one point, but I just find that I like to I'm more visual than auditory. So that works for me. And so that's
but we read a lot of books a month.
Right.
We read like 4 books a month.
Yeah, we're
3 or 4
averaging
months.
3 or 4
and
months.
she's about 6. So
because she's also in another book club.
like 3 other book clubs.
So
Well, final question?
Yeah.
Final question? Do you have thoughts on one or can I
Go ahead.
propose?
Propose.
We don't
So
have to do any more books
the
for
question
Juli.
that I propose is,
we just have to tell them what's happening next time.
so Jessie was told by her dying mother, find yourself. So I'm just curious what everybody thinks that really means. To truly find yourself, what do you have to do?
Daria.
I'm still trying to figure that out. You know, can you ever really find yourself? Because you should be always growing, changing, maturing,
Evolving,
learning, doing. So
bringing new
I think
ideas.
you should. I think that's great advice for the mom. From the mom, like
One
find
of her
yourself.
best.
Yes,
Probably one of her
like
best.
always.
Yeah.
Find yourself. Know
I would
who
like
you
someone
are.
to say,
Like,
or who are you,
Yeah.
and then have you found yourself?
what do you
Question
believe
mark.
in? What are you against?
What do
What are
you
your
stand
principles?
for?
What are your standards? You know, yes, you should know that and find yourself.
Yeah. I love that.
And I think it's a progression. Yeah, I don't think there is any definitive final
6
answer
months
on
to a
it.
year
Like
after
Alana
trauma.
says, she doesn't know. She hasn't totally done it yet. You constantly have to reflect and adjust when your new normal presents itself.
Yes, your new normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I remember a show on Broadway I saw a couple years ago. I think we were together, called Next to Normal. Yeah,
Don't
and
mind that, I don't know.
so the whole concept though was really around, people think that they know who they are. Do you really
don't.
ever? You don't.
Right, 'cause that next situation might make
Right,
you.
and then the whole idea that you think you're normal, you think you are typically developing, whatever the psychological term is for that, and are we, right? And or is that the goal?
yeah.
And do we really want to find ourselves? I mean, because that would be kind of like, check the box, I found myself, I know who I am. But, you can have some standards and expectations, but the evolution is kind of where the fun is, right?
Right, because nothing is constant except for change. Right? I mean,
Yes.
Very much. the
So
case.
should we remind everyone
Yes.
what our next
Yes.
book is?
Yeah, so we'll be back here in 2 weeks on the 28th, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. And the book that we're reading is The Other Woman by Sandie Jones.
Amazing.
oh, Juli says Audible all the way.
Oh, Juli, yes, Audible, yes, Juli. Yeah,
Yes.
with
So
your
what
busy
is-
schedule too, Juli, absolutely Audible.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, the other woman you said.
The
I'm
Other
sorry, I got
Woman, in
distracted.
2 weeks, we'll be back online here with The Other Woman. Sandie Jones is the author. It was a great book, great read. We actually read that book, the 3 of us. We are going to reread for you because we want to make sure we have all of our salient points. And we do hope you share the channel. I know Juli has been doing a really amazing job doing that. Thank you so much, Juli. We really hope that you guys have had a good time. Tell your friends. Join us back here on the 28th. And we always want to sign off with what, ladies?